teaching of purgatory is biblical and intuitive. Here's why. To preface the doctrine of purgatory, I think it's important to mention two Bible verses. In 1 Corinthians 3, Paul talks about the kinds of foundations that people build their life upon, and he declares that everyone's foundation will be subjected to fire, and he says that if the work of anyone shall be consumed, he shall suffer loss, but he shall be saved, but so as through the fire. And in Revelation chapter 21, when St. John is speaking of heaven, he says there will in no way enter into it anything profane, or one who causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. Now finally, for what the Catholic Church has to say about purgatory. The Catechism of the Catholic Church says, all who die in God's grace and friendship, but still imperfectly purified, are indeed assured of their eternal salvation, but after death they undergo purification, so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter the joy of heaven. That's it. Purgatory is just the idea that if you die an imperfect being, God will purify you when you enter into the kingdom. As the scriptures say, nothing impure enters into the kingdom, and those who are will be saved but as through fire. That could be instant, or it could take 1,000 years. What you want to believe in regard to that is up to you. All the doctrine of purgatory states is that you will be purified of what sinful nature you have left before you enter into the kingdom of heaven. People often like to view purgatory as this foreign thing that somehow compromises the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross. But most of the people I talk to would agree that God rids people of their sinful nature when they get into heaven, so that they may be pure and at peace, and that's all that purgatory is. As the Catechism states, if you die in God's grace, you will be saved. Purgatory even demonstrates God's mercy by assuring us that God is not a gotcha God. He won't send you to hell for stealing one of your friend's peanut butter Reese's cups. He doesn't even expect you to be perfect, but to remain in Him in all your imperfection and to rely upon His mercy. But do you think that at the moment of death, anyone is as holy as a saint in heaven? Do you think that God lets you take all of your flaws and shortcomings into the afterlife so that they can burden you for eternity? Of course not. That is precisely what purgatory is for. It is a purgation of your soul when you enter into the kingdom. You may try to contest the verses mentioned, but at the end of the day, 1 Corinthians 3 still demonstrates that it is possible for someone to have lived an imperfect life and still be saved. Moreover, the verse seems to indicate that this salvation occurs only after the burning away of their faults, as the Catholic Church notes. Moreover, as for Revelation chapter 21, regardless of who gets to go into heaven, it still states that nothing profane, or as other translations say, unclean, will enter into heaven. Again, do you really think that any of us are completely clean at the end of our lives? Are we really as perfect as we could possibly be, as we will be in heaven? I encourage you all to be open to the doctrine of purgatory and the possibility that it is not as controversial and complicated as some people make it out to be. Yes, while it is still open as to whether purgatory occurs in an instant, or whether it lasts for 1,000 years, or whether you can tell what's going on there, or if it occurs in a certain place. But truly, when we enter into God's kingdom, we are purified so that we may be perfect. And at the center of it all, that's all that purgatory is.